All right. Just released version .18, beta.18 last night on good old scriptkit.com. You can download that there. And I just need to make sure that the scripts which are available here are all updated. This is something I started working on before, but I still need to get some of the later ones. So I want to work on that today for now. Need to make sure I'm using the right Ken for this. That's the shared Ken. And here's all of the scripts that you can find here. You can see that because I'm in this environment, like share selected file and sound settings and all that are in this environment. And I'll just try them out and fix any bugs that show up along the way. And let's start by, I'm just gonna open the editor around these scripts. Alrighty. So let's go to the scripts. I think when I left off last time, was I at joke? I was around, I think I did imagery size. Joke should still work out.
How does a penguin build its house? It glues it together.
It glues it together. It glues it together. Got it. Let's see. So that ran that. I'm trying to remember if.
How come a man driving the train got struck by lightning? He was a good conductor.
I think I want to set panel as well. Let's do joke is this. Then we can, oops, not all of those, just this one and this one. Let's try that out.
What did the father tomato say to the baby tomato whilst on a family walk? Ketchup.
Nice. All right, so that looks pretty good. I've always wondered if when I run a subscript from a parent script, if I should get rid of the tabs.
Leather is great for sneaking around because it's made of hide.
But that's fine. Let's try new journal entry. Alrighty. If I see anything immediately. New journal entry. Hey Ben, what's up? I'm just working on the scripts that are featured on scriptkit.com to make sure they're all working with the latest release I just released last night. So that's what I'm doing on stream right now. So new journal entry. Okay. So it looks like that's working. Yeah, yesterday's release was a big one because it allows me to switch environments. So I can go to like my main script environment, which has all my personal scripts. And if you look at testing, I just have, I don't know how many testing scripts. And then I can switch over to like, these are the shared ones on the website, and I can update these ones. So eventually I'll allow people to like share environments So if like your company wanted to share one or some sort of product wanted to share one, say like a GitHub had a batch of scripts they wanted to share, then they could do that. So that should be pretty cool. And eventually, like in a release or two, I'll get it so that you can pull scripts from every environment, not just a single environment at a time. But I just wanted to get this out so people could mess around with it. And the other part is it also enables that idea of you can have a single shared repo, which you could put on GitHub, and I can feature your scripts on scriptkit.com. So put a post up about that in the discussions. But for right now, let me make sure this one, I think I'm gonna check the environment variables in this. The discussions, let me post this link here. The discussion's there, so this link. Is there another post in here? Oh, just barely. Yeah, some people are working with the Notion API and writing some scripts for it. Something I definitely need to dig into. I'm sure that'll be a big interest for everyone. Thanks. Let's see. Yeah, so the get your scripts featured, like that's here. And like discussing the latest releases here. I wrote those up today. I wanted to make sure. Okay, let me delete my Reddit stuff. Okay, I had some Reddit keys in here for the Reddit script. So it looks like this is loading the journal path here for the environment variable here. So if that didn't exist, and I did new journal entry, it would prompt me to enter a journal path. And I think I could do journal. Yeah. And this opens a second editor with a Markdown file prompting me and asking how I'm feeling. Pretty good. So that's that right there. So that script's working. And well, actually, there's a new text area prompt where you could write the note in line and then it could save it to the file. But I think this one should open it in the editor instead. I eventually want to make a prompt that's like an editor-based prompt where you could select what sort of language you want to write it in, like a Markdown editor with highlighting and stuff. I think there's some. I've never used any of these npm React editor or something. I know Monaco exists. I know some other editors I can just kind of drop in there and use. I'm just gonna have to play around with what editors I could pop open for people to use. React Monocoated. That looks pretty popular. I mean, that might be the one to do. I know Monaco's widely used. But that's for another day. All right, back on task. Open project. This is a pretty common one. Just lets you make a list of projects you want to open. So this would open that opened in this browser over here, or this window monitor over there. Actually, what I might want to do is have like a database of projects. Let's make the script a little cooler. We'll call this projects, and this doesn't need to be asynchronous. We'll do projects as an array. Default it to this. And then we'll do projects DB, and then this can be projects DB projects. And what this would do now is it opens the projects. It lists the projects, but it also writes it to a file here. So it wrote that file because we used the DB helper. But the other thing is we can set up some tabs to add and remove projects to our project launcher, kind of like the to-dos example. So let's do that. On tab, like open can be this one, and then this, and then this needs to be async. So now open project. So you'll see there's an open tab, and now let's do like an add and remove project. Well, we'll just do add. And then we can so here we can just prompt for, just do project like that, add project, path to project. Project by path. That's the best way to say that. We'll do path to project. And then once you type that in, we'll do projects DB projects push project, and then projects DB dot write. Let's see, I should I list these in here? Let's do what's the do index of project is projects DB projects. Is that array method just called index of? That's what it's called, right? I haven't used that one in a while. I'm not ashamed to look up an array index of. Yeah. Find index. There are ways to make it so, well, I guess I couldn't type that right now, unless I did some sort of JS doc around that. And then we can it's been a while since I've used these methods. Let's slice, and then the I usually use filter here, but let's see something. Oh no, not that one. Switch over to this one, and I want to edit to-dos. What over? Oops. Go to lib to-dos. Yeah. That's what I thought. That's the index one right. And I guess that would exit at that point. I'm gonna have to put these in the while loops. That's one way of just doing a while true around these. Well, not in the open one. Because we're using the await, it's just like telling it to refresh what's going on in here. And we can do the same thing here. And that should work. I think I should list the projects. Maybe we can just do show the current projects. So it's obvious they're not selectable. We can show them in the panel if we return a string instead of an array. And that lets us display them rather than make them selectable. Let me just, I gotta switch back over to switch this one. Open project. Okay, so now there's an add and a remove. Let's remove how to exit. Oh, it's not a function. Did I try and execute it as a function? Projects. Oh, whoops. Yeah, that'd usually be like a selector find function. All right, so now if I open, whoops, open project, go over to remove. Cool. So that removed it, and I can add it back. Projects, script scriptsdb.com. But I definitely need some feedback here that that added successfully. I don't have to tab over to remove or open. So let's do that. So the second argument here, if it's a, like I was saying, if it's a string instead of an array, then we can just display them in a panel. So let's do some Markdown. Well, yeah, we'll do Markdown projects, DB projects. I'll just map the project to this work. Join on a new line there. Is that the idea? Let's see. Oops. Open. Cool. So now if I add oh, now it's doing interesting. Is it still, that might be a bug in the script kit itself. So that's working, but I think it's the the choices are still, because it's the same script, even though I changed tabs, the choices are still set to the previous tab choices. Okay, I need to take a note of that. It's one of those context things. It's funny, I always just write the note on my phone because I brief choices remain in new tab. All right, so yeah, I need to get rid of these. I guess I should validate that it doesn't already exist, because if I do this, it's just going to add it, which isn't a huge deal. But we can protect against that. So let's do grab this. This is now a placeholder, and we can add a validate. The validate function that takes excuse me, takes the input that we typed, so the project name, and we'll do it's valid if we can't find in our projects DB well, let's do valid if projects DB projects index of input equals 0. And the other way this works, so you can guard against these and return messages. You can return true, else return a string. Whoa. Project already exists at input, something like that. So that way, if we try to go into open project and go to add, we try to add kit. What did I do there? Project log. 1000 add. Index of input. We'll do project add input. Oh, I guess index of, what does that return if it's not found? Probably returns -1, I'd bet. Yeah, -1. I was 0 is obviously the first item in the array. I was thinking in different falsy terms. All right, so open project, add kit. That still worked. So project DB project index of input is -1, and then that means it doesn't exist and it should be valid. All right, let's just start logging other stuff. Open project. Oops. That's a property ID of null. Is the validator running on first? Let's see. Oh, did this screw up the database? It did. Okay. I wonder if I should guard against null being put in the database. I'm doing well. How are you doing? Gonna write that down myself. Guard against nulls in DB. I guess sometimes you might want a null in the database. Anyway, for right now, let's just delete all of these. Bring this back. Open project, add. Okay, so that's what I'm doing wrong. All right, so if it found it at 0. But it should have only returned here if that was true. Is the validator not? It's definitely running. And I got the project already exists. But now it's interesting. I think the validator might be continuing down and writing here, even though it's invalid. And the validator is supposed to keep it kind of locked in this loop until that's validated. So that may have been a bug that's introduced there. Open project. Yeah, that broke the database again. Whoops, that just opened it. I wanted to add one. Add. Yeah, this is, I'll need to go through that logic of the validator and keeping that inside of the validator, not preventing continuation. All right, so I'm just going to leave the validation off for now. Can bring this back. And cool. I'm actually glad. I'm glad when I find bugs like this because I know where to fix them. So now I can just add whatever. I can remove whatever. Remove this. And then any of these that I select, it'll open that directory. So that's solid. I just need to go back and fix that validation. I think actually what I can do here is on all of these ProjectsDB, I think I can get rid of all of them. And whoops. And just grab projects off of there. And have that still work. Although I'd need to export write as well. Oh, you know, I also need to await write. Or else that might get into some weird situations. So, pretty sure something another project. All right, so that's working. And if I just delete the projects file just to test this out, let's make sure that open project will default. Okay, good. It defaults to those projects there. Cool. Anything else I can do to improve this script? I don't need to inline that. That's fine. I think it looks pretty clean as far as like it's very, very similar to the to-do script. Because it's adding and removing to-dos, except that this one, when you select something, it obviously opens that project in like VS Code or whatever the editor is you have selected in your .env file. Okay, so I'm gonna manage projects. I'm actually tempted to read from a projects directory. I think most, I don't know, I'd be curious like to take a poll of who keeps their projects in a single directory. Just like I have a users John Lindquist projects directory, and that's where I keep my projects. So like I could pre-populate this reader, and I could do my home directory, projects, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, let's get rid of the database. I also want to wrap this in an async function, so otherwise it'll execute every time. And we only want it to execute if that file's missing. So if I were to do this, now you can see all the projects in my projects directory. And I could remove them. Like this isn't deleting it from disk, it's just removing it from that JSON file. That error out for some reason. Projects index of is not a function. Oh, that's why. This is not how that works. It's like this. So you'd write a function that returns an object, and that object, oops, would look like this. Oops. So that's what that would look like. Then I could remove this and whatever. And then that's just updating that database file. I'm always surprised VS Code doesn't let me do a path, like db and projects.json. I have to type out the whole thing out. Interesting. Why doesn't it find that file? Like I hate going over here to select it when you could just write db path and projects. Oops, projects. New keyboard, still getting used to the layout of it. Let's do list projects. Anyway, I just wanted to show that part off. I'm going to leave it like this so that you manually set up your first list. List dev projects. Oh, awesome, Christian. Glad you figured that out. I'm actually going to set up, I got family in town next week, but like the following week, I'm going to open up my calendar to do like one-on-ones with whoever wants to write scripts and go through stuff. So be happy to help out on anything. I definitely want to see how people are using this and how I can improve it. And I'm sure everyone experiences some bugs here and there that I can work out. so this should be good. I wonder if I can. Yeah, new concept. Sister's coming down from Alaska. That's where I grew up, and it'll be cool to see her visit. Yeah, I'll leave this like that. Oh, interesting. I don't have the bin directory ignored. Oh, I guess I didn't create this from... There's a Ken template repo. So when you use this one, so whenever you come over here and create a new kit environment, it'll use this template and create a new repo on your machine. But with this kit environment, I already had scripts on the website under a directory, and I moved them over, and I didn't use the template, so it looks like I missed on a git ignore file. Let me go ahead and grab that. And that shouldn't be in there either. Surprised DS store isn't in here. DS store, is that it? Underscore. All right. That looks good. Did I install something? Oh yeah, I need to make sure not to commit these. All right, let's go through some other scripts. I think, did I do this one already? Project name. Looks like the prompt is opening sometimes and not resizing when the choices are set. I need to look into that. We're doing some optimizations around caching all of the metadata of the scripts so that I can launch the prompt faster. Meaning that like immediately when you hit the shortcut, it can read from a cache rather than invoke node, have node send the data over, and then display the prompt. So I did a first pass of that. I think that's like the life cycle going on there, sometimes getting in the way of the choices. They load, they just it just doesn't resize properly. And there's some life cycle stuff around the prompt resizing, which gets really complicated because you can move and resize the prompt yourself to wherever you want. So I'll have to dig into that. All right, so project. Okay, this one's working fine. We looked at that one already. But this one's a bit different. This one's the quick thoughts. Oh yeah. I'm screening this script right now. And that wrote that tiny little thought to a file, and then if I type open, hit enter, you'll see it open this project with a timestamped. So it created this file and timestamped my little thought. If I just do quick thoughts again, whoops, I did a shortcut on accident. You'll see it'll add to the file there. That looks good. I think the timestamp, so while it's still 3:55, okay, so while you're like in the same loop, it'll write underneath that timestamp. This is also useful if you want to like hook it up to Notion or other APIs where you want to jot down quick notes about whatever you're working on. And definitely something I want to improve and play with around other APIs for storing data and whatnot. You could like grab the text from your clipboard and save it to files or to post that, and like there's tons of fun things you can do with this. And most of the logic here is around like that first time you write, it needs to create the file that very first time, and create and write the file. But other than that, it's really just this loop of, if it's a thought, just type in whatever you want, and then it'll add that thought here. Checks if it's the first one. If it is, then it does the date, and then just builds up that string, and then it appends it to that file. That thought file is found wherever you set your environment variable of thoughts path. So yeah, I think this is a really cool use case for this. Let's try read news. Good old news. If I click on one of these, it'll take me to that story. So it's kind of like visiting. I guess I could title the script "Scrape" something or other. But the idea is that it is visiting this and scraping the header 3, then grabbing the inner text for the name and the link for the for what it's going to open, passes it in here. I think I still need an open helper. People ask this question a lot of how to open a URL. I think I just need to add a global open where you just type in a URL. Yeah, I'm gonna add that sometime. Let's see. And this is another one where like you could have the scraper running on a schedule and writing that to files or posting that to APIs, and building up collections of whatever, right? And to schedule that, all it is schedule, and then you can do, let's see, the first minute of, how does cron work again? The 6th, every 4 hours, and then 1, 2, 3, something like that. This would be like every 4 hours or every 4th hour, 4 a.m., 8 a.m., and so on. Run the scraper, and then you could like post that data somewhere. And once I hit this, you'd see in the terminal. Let me bring this up over here. You'll see that it has scheduled this down there, and that's the app has the cron package, and it's scheduled that job to happen at those times. So it'll just kind of sit there waiting for you to waiting for that time to come, and if you want to stop it, I'll just do that. Oh, actually, that was funny. It was at 4 p.m. and you saw the prompt open, like the task actually ran. You can see in the log. Whoops. In the where'd my prompt go? I tried dragging it over and missed. There it is. Yeah, so it tried to run the schedule process, and since I didn't select anything, that's another thing to note is that any of the scheduled, like there's the system event processes, like when you unlock your screen and or go to battery power or whatever, scheduled processes, and some of the app, like internal app processes, they'll all time out at 30 seconds. And that seems like a good amount of time to guard against, a script just running forever. And I'm working on some metadata, so you can extend, it's gonna be like timeout, where you can put in whatever custom amount of time you want. But for any of those scripts that are gonna run in the background, I definitely want to protect the user from, writing a script that's gonna do something, take too long, and hog resources and whatnot. All right, so that's fine. I think I already did. Actually, let me try this one. I need to go grab my grab some environment variables. So excuse me for 1 second while I do something on my other screen. All right. So I opened my environment variable file and created all these environment variables. And you can do, you can grab these at reddit.com prefs apps, create your own app, and it'll give you this stuff. So let's do Reddit. And they should preview, there we go. They should preview images. I guess you can filter down. Tab through various stuff you might want to read through. Cute puppies. Not all of these will have previews. Looks like that image link is broken for some reason. It's kind of interesting with the mouse-driven experience. But let's click on that. Oh yeah, looks like I don't actually open that. I say select post open, but it doesn't actually do anything. So that's the URL, and we have to find the other paren and do an exec open quoted URL. And it's always best to quote things in exec because it is just sending it straight to bash, and if it has some sort of query parameter with a ampersand or question marks, those things have special meaning in bash. So if it's unquoted, it might mess with stuff. So let's try clicking on that, and then that opened up over here. Cool. Let's try. I worked on this one last stream, and I think we got that taken care of. Sound settings. This is actually a script someone asked for. He's like, I just want a keyboard shortcut to open my sound panel. So all this script does is sound settings, and you see it pops open, and you can just find a shortcut. We'll do shortcut Option S or something. So now when I hit Option S, oh, I have that. That's another thing I have to do with the kit environments. So all the shortcuts are still registered to my other environment. Looks like Option S is already taken. We'll do Option 1. So we'll do Option 1, and there's my sound settings. So you can use ScriptKit just to do keyboard shortcuts to like open settings or apps or whatever with a single keystroke. So that's pretty cool. This also works with like if there's a URL you go to a lot, you can just drop a URL in there. But all the preference panes are in your system library preference pane. You can find them in there. So let's try. I think I'm just going to remove this one for now. There's something around the AppleScript speech recognition server which wasn't popping up. I remember I worked on this one for a while. I didn't want to. Wow, that doesn't give me much to work on with that error. Oh, yeah, that's not the right. This would now be the ScriptsDB, actually. So I put that in there. So this database exists and is updated by the app. And you can just grab this and use it to access your own scripts. And if there's anything you want to do with the scripts, you can see the ScriptsDB here. And each time, like the app watches the scripts folder and generates this file when scripts change. So you can see that each of these entries match up with one of these scripts. And this is useful in I use it a lot for the app, but it's also useful if you want to find all the different users you have who you're borrowing scripts from, or who have written scripts for you, where all your scripts are stored. If you want to make a list of all the ones that have shortcuts, that works as well. And this one, let's see if this runs now. Oh, it did work this time. So pop this open. We tried book search. Let's see. Canary property ends with. Script name. Let me see. that not writing out to that log? See, I just don't get VS Code sometimes. Logs, speak, no match results. It's right there. And show some other ones. It's because maybe it's because they're get ignored. I don't know. Let's see, what util is that using? Ends with resolve to script path global run. Oh, there must be. Let's make the value file path and run speak script book search, and then we can search for Star Wars or something. I typed in 2 S's. Speak script app launcher. Okay, cool. So this uses the internal speech recognition server just on OS X. You can see pretty much what it's doing here. The key is to build your scripts as an array and join them together using commas so that inside of here it's listed out and can pop up in that prompt. I haven't really found a way to, or like you could find a keyboard shortcut to this and have a list of things you could speak and actions to take based on whatever you say. This one just runs scripts, and you could put like whatever scripts you want in here. And I thought about making a utility around this, like listen for. Maybe I should listen for, and then you pass an array of strings. I'll have to think about like the API around that, because I think it's a pretty cool use case. Keyboard shortcut to launch a like if this had a keyboard shortcut. So we'll do shortcut option 2 or something. And I just did this. You can see it opens up this list of commands, and I could say Reddit. Reddit. There we go. And then so that selected that from that list. So it's pretty useful. Looks like it's working now. I'm gonna take a note on that one. Listen for util. I'd love to hear from like the community some other examples of like a list of things you want to speak or choose from. Could probably add this to like our project launcher and those sorts of things as well. Or a list of websites, like any sort of list. The pain with doing this in AppleScript is just generating that list, and because we're in kind of JavaScript land and we're creating a string to pass to AppleScript, it becomes fairly trivial. I think this one is want to get rid of. So say you copy something to the clipboard, and then you run speed reader, and I want to read it 100 words a minute, which is actually pretty slow. Let's do that. Speed reader. Let's do 500 words a minute. Yeah, I think I want to. Well, it's kind of fine the way it is, but I could definitely provide a better UI for that. I still think there's a case for just a visual prompt that you can just display text in that's not arg, and that you can send updates to, where it's still part of the script and it waits for you to hit enter to continue with the script, but it's like a visual clue of what's going on, almost like a visual console log. I wouldn't call it console. I've been thinking about the naming of that, but whether it's just pop-up or modal or prompt or text prompt or something like that. This is a script I love. So if I type awesome, it'll show me synonyms and all the definitions, and I hit enter, and then we'll paste it. I actually don't need this anymore. Set selected text as global. So I can do synonym, amazing, and select awe-inspiring. It's cool. This is an open API, and it gives you plenty of requests for personal use. I can't remember what their request limit is per IP per day, but like I couldn't launch this as an app because it'd go over the limits. But for personal use, there's plenty of requests for that. So, and this will make the request every character. So like if you're typing fruit full, I don't have to enter anything. It'll just make that request. I think it debounces it. It debounces it in the app like 250 milliseconds, I think. It's another one of those things I kind of keep an eye on, and whether or not I want to add like a debounce rate to the configuration for an arg. What is this doing in here? Testing path glob doing. Is that on the site? Interesting. I know why I was using this. But I do not want to share that. I was using that for building a string for watchers, because I wanted to watch all the scripts in the script directory or something like that. And I wanted to see if path.join worked just to generate a string, and it did. Even though it wasn't an actual path, you could just use the glob. Don't need these. Can just do this. Title case. It'll prompt to install title case. An error has occurred. Alrighty. Unexpected token export. I'm curious. this saying? The error is happening in the, where'd it go? I'm looking at my terminal on the other monitor. In the npm script. Line 41. I guess I have to look at that. Oh, okay. So title case. Must have its package set up in some way I'm not handling. Alrighty, time to dive into the node modules and look at title case, package JSON. JS next main. Interesting. So it's loading this file. At least it should be loading this file. And it must be erroring on this. Why would it error on that? I wonder. No. All right. Well, that's an error I'll have to hunt down. Unexpected token export. Update Twitter name. Let me grab some environment variables for this one. I'm gonna go to the other screen real quick. And I need to grab them from other project. It's really kind of sad how difficult it is, like the approval process to make a Twitter app these days. So Twitter name, install Twitter Lite, and we'll say streaming live on, or what should I call it? Testing script kit. All right, let's go check my name on Twitter right now. You can see my name is Testing Script Kit. And I think this actually live updates. I thought I had a push. I guess I'll just refresh. Yeah, there we go. So that's a script to do that. Oh, I still need to do the... Did I add the JS config in my projects? Yeah, I didn't yet. This name is deprecated shows up because of the DOM lib, and you have to in here. Oh, I thought. I thought that would get rid of the libdom. Interesting. Can I write that down as a note too? DOM lib name. Alrighty. Let's try these other ones. Looks like I have a few bugs to work out, so that'll be good. Title case is the one I'm most curious about because it uses the npm helper, and that's a module loader that is based on the package JSON of each of the things you install. All right, let's try vocab quiz. This all looks fine. WordNet DB, random word, and natural all need to be installed for this. What does boorish mean? Let's see. Ill-mannered and coarse. Any of three poisonous colors, isomeric phenols. I almost wish it was that. We'll do ill-mannered and coarse. Got it. Intoxicated. Anyone in chat know what intoxicated means? I like the definition though. Carcinogen. Let's try it. Let's make sure. Okay, so it does this script is cool. I like that you can build little games with this. And it's one of those little scripts that brings me joy. What does develop mean? That's like a philosophical question. What does tin_plate mean? Anywho, I think you get the idea of what that does. So this is kind of a not your normal script, but you can see it prepares words. Then it, I could do this in a while true. I think this might be before I thought of using while loops. Let me try. I'm just kind of guessing that this will work. Set placeholder, WordNet lookup, do the quiz. And then start over. Okay, let's try it again. Looks like I refactored that too quickly. Okay, so let's look at the logic here. The first thing we call is prepare words, which is this function. So it's a placeholder. We saw that. We look up a random word, and then push the words. So there's a words array up here. And then once we get 4 words, we can quiz. And the quiz finds the word because it's the first one that we pushed on. And then it shuffles the array of words. And if the result is this, I'll set the placeholder, wait for 2 seconds, clear out the words, prepare the words. All right. And then it does the quiz again. So which part wasn't running when we were doing it this way? So not getting to the quiz. Where's the vocab quiz log? Oops. Clear that out. Random word. Wait, is that? Answer. I'll call it quiz word. Quiz word sounds like Squidward. Quiz word. Whoa. Okay. Okay. Oh, you know what it's not doing? It's not pausing on the quiz. And this didn't have async in it. Let's see. So random word lookup. Quiz word, find all the results. I'll need to go. I don't know exactly what WordNet lookup is doing. Because it doesn't look like it's getting to the results. Random word, quiz word. happens if I only run this once? Okay. Yeah, I'll have to rethink the logic on this one because it was looping through until this was satisfied. And I definitely think I can do that better. But I think it's about dinner time for me. I'll tinker around with this later and make sure it gets posted. I think Word API should still work, and this is the last one. I want a rhyme for amazing, blazing, raising, grazing. Okay, so that one works. Yeah, it looks like I have a few scripts to. I'll fix these off stream, get them posted to scriptkit.com. And once they're up there, you can just go to the .com and you just come in here and click add to Kit app, and that'll just install the script into whatever Kit environment you're in. And again, if you're interested in hosting your scripts up there, there's this post, which I'll share. And this shows how you can send me a repo that can get hosted on here to share your scripts with the community. I think there's one on here by, let's see. So this is one of the demos, like Zach has a repo and he would have his own Zach Jones. This would follow your GitHub identity because your repo would be under your GitHub identity. And you could share your scripts from here and just have them like as a public thing to show off to everyone. So if you're interested in that, please check that out. I'm happy to share what you're working on. Other than that, please hit me up with the questions and the discussions, and I'll answer whatever I can. I think there's over 300 posts now, and I've answered, I think, all of them. So awesome. Have a great weekend, and be excellent to each other. I'll be back next week. Later.